What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy back from Budget Dad Barbecue and Brewing. Hey, do you want to do something weird? I know I do. So today we're going to do a cow tongue on the Lifesmart 15-inch mini Kamado brisket style. A few months ago I was thinking about this, so I ended up looking up on YouTube to see if other people were doing this. And it turns out that there were a few others. However, what they do is they actually smoke the cow tongue with the skin on. Now that's all fine and dandy. It looked delicious, but it kind of grossed me out. And then also I was thinking, how do you get the seasonings to penetrate through the skin of the tongue? So today we're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to go ahead and trim the tongue first, taking the skin off. I've watched a few videos, mostly coming from Japan, on how to do this. And then I'm going to season it with a little salt, pepper, garlic, and celery seed. Let it sit for a little bit, and then we're going to do it hot and fast, because my rationale is if we do low and slow for too long, this meat is going to dry out. It's super lean. There's not a lot of fat, if at all. So I think letting this thing cook for 10, 12 or more hours, it's going to turn into a big chewy piece of beef jerky. So for that reason, I think a hot and fast. I'm going to start probably around 375 to see if we can get a bit of a bark on there. It may take an hour, it may take 2 hours. We're going to see how that goes. And then we're going to go ahead and turn down the heat to maybe around 250 or so. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it, beef consomme, and then we're going to see how this turns out. Could be really good or it could be really nasty. You'll be the first ones to find out. All right, enough of me talking. Let's get into this experiment. Let's do the trim. All right, folks, so this is what we've got. Pretty sizable cow tongue. And I've cleaned this up a little bit, but what we're going to do is we're going to trim off all of this skin, and we're going to go ahead and make a cut right here, trim up this little fatty part. It's not pretty, I recognize that, but I think it's the best I can do considering this is the first time I've ever done it. So right now, let's go ahead and get this thing going. I'm going to go ahead and rub it down with some mustard as our base. I'm going to go ahead and douse it with some garlic powder. Usually what I do is I mix this into one single blend, but right now I'm not feeling that, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this separately. And I figure if I'll give this a garlic base, so that will be the first thing to seep into that meat. All right, now let's do some smoked paprika. Okay, some salt, pepper, all right, everyone, this looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get that mini Kamado fired up to 375 degrees or thereabouts. And we're going to put this on, and we're just going to check it out and see how it goes over the course of 1 hour to 2 hours as far as forming that bark, and then we can wrap it and turn that temperature down. We'll see you then. All right, what's up, everybody? We are back. It's been approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. Let's take a look. Ooh, check out that bark. Wow, that's actually it's better than I thought. I've got a little apple cider vinegar and water, and I don't have a spritz bottle on me right now, so I'm going to do just a light basting. And by the looks of this, I don't think I'm going to give this more than another 15 or 20 minutes. So for today's purposes, I'm just going to do a rough guesstimate and say that we're going to want this on 375 for about 1 hour and 30 minutes maximum. Okay, I'm going to close it up. All right, cool. We'll see you back in about 15, 20. Okay, we're back. It's been about 20 minutes, and let's take a look. Oh, that is beautiful. Wow. And the bark formed really nicely. Okay, let's get this thing off, and we are going to wrap it. All right, now let's add a little bit of our beef consomme and a little bit of our apple cider vinegar and just a touch of water. Nothing else I'm going to do here. No other special things or seasonings, just a little bit of fluid so that we can give it the steam bath. Get this back on the Kamado. Okay, let's plug it in. See what temp we have right now. Okay, 198, that is a lot more than I expected. That's almost done. So looking back on this, I think I should have only left it unwrapped for maybe 45 minutes to an hour instead of an hour and a half, but that's all right. I still think we should let it ride. So let's come back when we get to about 210 and then we'll probe it and see how it feels as far as doneness. What's up everybody? We have been running steady at around 275, 280 degrees for the past 2.5 hours. We hit a stall at 212 degrees and that lasted for well over an hour. I'd probably say maybe an hour and 15 minutes. But thank goodness we made it past. We are at an internal temperature at 215 degrees now, and I think we're done. But first, let's probe it and check it. All right, that is feeling good. That's feeling nice. See how it goes in and out? Perfect. Whoops, I popped a hole in the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and get this off. I'm gonna put a little bit more aluminum foil around this, and we will let it rest for about, I'd say 45 minutes or so. So I'll see you back in the kitchen. All right, folks, we're back in the kitchen. Moment of truth. Let's take a look and see what we've got. Reminder, this is an experiment and I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. I will be honest with you if you should not do this. Let's unwrap this thing. It smells like that celery seed. Ooh, all right. It's got, I don't know what to say right now. This is really odd, but it's kind of got a brisket sort of look, but it's clearly not a brisket. Let's see. So it held it pretty well. It's got a little bit of a jiggle. All right, this is kind of a little bit of an overkill here as far as a slicing knife here, but oh boy, that went right through. So it does not smell like brisket. It smells more of like almost like an organ meat. It almost has a liver sort of thing to it. This piece is a little bit more, wow, I mean, look at you guys, look at how soft that is. It just falls right apart. This kind of reminds me again of like a tongue tacos. Let's try this out. Holy moly, it's hot. Whoa. It's good. It's not great. There's a sponginess to it that is a bit off-putting. I can't put my finger on it. It's very beefy. Ooh, that's a little salty. That one was actually better. Now this is interesting because one observation I made when I was doing this is that certain areas of the tongue, the tongue is only this big, is finishing off sooner than other parts. So when one part would make it to 210, another part of it, 4 inches or 5 inches away, was at 198. So I find that really odd, and I don't know exactly if that's the cut, that's the way the muscle behaves, but for that reason, I think it's sort of a smoker's nightmare. So, so far, I'm not sold on this. Let's go ahead and cut into this a little bit more because I noticed that as I cut into it, the texture gets a little bit more fibrous. So as you can see, this is super this is just falling apart. It's almost, you see how it's almost kind of mushy in a way? But as you start to work your way in, you could start to see these fibers. So let's keep cutting into this and we'll see how different it gets. You can see now, see how different the texture is? It's not as uniform as the first cuts on the thicker side. This one has a little bit more fiber. Oh yeah, I could eat that all day. This is the tip of the tongue. Much better, in my opinion. That's actually pretty darn good. So overall, my friends, would I recommend this at all? No, don't do it. And there's 3 reasons for that. Number 1, it just doesn't taste amazing. Number 2, it is a smoker's nightmare in my opinion. There were different ends of this that behaved differently as far as temperature. Much more of a nightmare than what you would get for your brisket, which would have your point and your flat. Thirdly, it's expensive. You guys, I can go to Costco right now and get a solid brisket for $5 a pound. And on sale, you might even be able to get it for cheaper for about $4 a pound. This thing, I think runs $10 a pound sometimes. I mean, one tongue is gonna run you about 25 bucks. Now to me, that is completely insane. However, once in a while when my mother-in-law's up here, she makes tongue tacos. It is an all-day process. She puts love into that. Those are absolutely amazing. That's different. From now on, I'm gonna leave the tongue cooking to my mother-in-law because she knows what she's doing and I have no idea. Okay, everybody, as a bonus, I've got mi suegra, my mother-in-law. She's here, and now, again, she is the master at cooking this. You've probably seen her from a previous video where I did the tapache and she called remotely via FaceTime. Well, she's here right now, everyone, and she's here to try this. I'm sweating, not only because I know this isn't that good, but I know that this is in no comparison to the tongue that she makes.
This is
small,
moist and
kind of oily, rich.
Good job, Jeremy.
Okay, well, I'm surprised. All right, well, lesson learned. Cool experiment. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun watching this. So you know the drill. If you learned anything, if you were halfway entertained, hit that like button, subscribe. If not, that's cool too. I'm not going to judge you. Take care. See you soon.